গিরিবরধারী জয় গোপী জনবল্লভ গিরিবরধারী যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন যমুনা তীর বনচারী যমুনা তীর বনচারী জয় রাধা মাধব জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে জয় রাধা গিরিধারী রাধে জয় জগন্নাথ জয় বলদেব জয় সুভদ্রা জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ নিতাই গৌর হরি বল নিতাই গৌর হরি বল। Hare Krishna devotees, all the devotees, today we'll first read from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and after that we'll recite and discuss one sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. So first we are reading from Prabhupada's Lilamrita. So I'm sharing the screen. Just allow me a minute, please. So do everybody can see the screen now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. Some evenings, Prabhupada would speak or arrange debates. Although Kirtanananda was constantly cautioning, when Prabhupada wanted to speak, it was impossible for any of the disciples to stop him. Sometimes he would ask Kirtanananda to debate with one of the visiting devotees. One devotee would argue for the impersonalist or atheist position, and the other would argue for the Krishna conscious position. Prabhupada would judge, but no sooner would the argument begin than Prabhupada would interrupt, take the position of the devotee, and defeat the atheist or impersonalistic argument. The devotees loved it. Prabhupada was unable to confine himself either to be the role of a silent judge or to that of recuperating patient. Why do we concentrate on the impersonalist? Kirtanananda asked. Why do we attack them so much? Why don't we concentrate our attack on the atheists? You say that because you are an impersonalist, Prabhupada answered angrily. On other occasion, Prabhupada explained that non-devotees who mislead the innocent public are demons and should be exposed. Kirtanananda objected. If we call them demons, they will never come around. But they are demons, Prabhupada replied. But we can't call them demons, Swamiji. Yes, they are demons. Unless you understand this point, you will not make any advancement in Krishna consciousness. Can the demons become devotees? Kirtanananda asked. Oh yes, Prabhupada answered. If they chant Hare Krishna and render service and render service, even demons become devotees. Hare Krishna. And I will stop. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Srinnatham Shakatha Krishna Punna Sravana Kirtana Hridiyantasto hi Abhadrani Vidhunoti Shurit Nashto Praisho Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavate Nashtiki. Today we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1 and verse 4. The heading of this canto, the creative impetus, and the heading of this chapter, the activities of Maharaja Priyabrata. Mantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki joy. So I'm sharing the screen again and just allow me. So Canto 5, Chapter 1 and verse 4. Shamshoyoyam Mahan Brahman Daragaro Sutadishu Shaktasya Jat Siddhirabhut Krishne Chamotirachyuta Shamshoyoyam Mahan Brahman Daragaro Sutadishu Shaktasya Jat Siddhirabhut Krishne Chamotirachyuta Shamshoyoyam Mahan Brahman Dharagaro Sutadishu Shaktasya Jat Siddhir Abhut Krishne Chamutir Achyuta. Hare Krishna, any of the devotees wants to recite, please? Can do it now.
Hare Krishna. Shamshayoyam Mahan Brahman Daragaro Sutadishu Shaktasya Yat Siddhir Abhut Krishne Chamotirachyuta. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. I am also trying.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please.
Samsayoyam Mahan Brahman Daragara Shutadishu Saktasya Yat Siddhir Abhut Krishne Chamotir Achyuta. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else wants to do that? Okay. In that case, we can move to the synonyms. If there is no other person to recite. So can you please read the synonyms, please?
I'll try, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Synonyms for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samshaya, doubt. I am this. Mahan, great. Brahman, oh Brahmana. Dara, to the wife. Agara, home. Suta, children. Adishu, and so on. Saktasya, of a person attached. Yat, because. Siddhi, perfection. Abhut, became. Krishna, unto Krishna. Cha, also. Mati, attachment. Achyuta, infallible. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. And anyone can read the translation, please?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Yes, Mataji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The king continued, O great Brahmana, this is my great doubt. How was it possible for a person like King Priyabrata, who was so attached to wife, children, and home, to achieve the topmost infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness?
And anyone can read the purport, please? If anyone wants to read.
Hare Krishna. I'll read that. King Parikshit wondered how a person so attached to wife, children, and home could become so perfectly Krishna conscious. Prahlad Maharaj has said, Motirno Krishne Parato Swato va Mitho Obhipadyeta Griho Vratanam. Grihabrata, one who has taken a vow to execute family duties, has no chance to become Krishna conscious. This is because most Grihabratas are guided by sense gratification and therefore gradually glide down to the darkest regions of material existence. Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamishram. How can they possibly become perfect in Krishna consciousness? Maharaj Parikshit asked Shukdeva Goswami to resolve this great doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, I'm just trying. Om Ajnanotimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sham Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yudapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahavana Raghunatam Nitam Tam Sajivam Swadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Savana Lalita Sri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Kanuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Bindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpotarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Prevacha Putitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Prabhupada Nugami Sri Shubha Goswamini Shoda Dina Shri Shubhabhaya Sarva Jiva Kripadhaya Guru Shiksha Sadachara Palapaya Namastute Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshodharini Namo Mahabodhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurutishe Nama Mukam Karoti Vachalam Kungum Langhayate Girim Jat Kripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna everybody. I welcome you all, the devotees here, in this morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. And although I am not qualified, but still I am doing this service as I have been instructed to undertake this service. And also because it gives me an opportunity to purify myself. So I beg all the devotees here for your mercy. Please bless me so that I can properly glorify Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the background of this chapter, a brief background I'm trying to give. In this chapter, we see that we hear about King Priyabrata. King Priyabrata is the son of Swayambhu Manu. And Swayambhu Manu, as we know, is the mind son of Lord Brahma. Manu Maharaj married Shatarupa, and he had two sons, namely Priyabrata and Uttanpad, and three daughters. They are Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. And Manu Maharaj got his first daughter Akuti married to Ruchi Rishi. His middle daughter Devahuti was married to Kordam Rishi. And his youngest daughter Prasuti was married to Prajapati Daksha. So far in Canto 4, we have heard in details about the descendants of King Uttanpad, and particularly some of the great highly elevated devotees like King Dhruva Maharaj and Prithu Maharaj. And in this chapter, not in this chapter, in the last chapter, it is 4:31:27, we have seen that Maharaj Priyabrata was instructed by great sage Narad Muni about the mission of human life. And we all know that the mission of human life is to realize oneself and understand one's relation with the Supreme Lord, and particularly our relation as an eternal servant of the Lord, and our duty to serve the Lord. And when we sincerely do our service of devotional service, the Lord takes care of us, and he allows us to go back to the Godhead. But King Priyabrata had enjoyed royal opulence, majesty, and also returned to full knowledge. So Maharaja Parikshit was greatly astonished why first is why King Priyabrata remained in household life, especially since he was not only a self-realized soul, but he also is a first-class devotee of the Lord. So a devotee normally has no attraction for the household life. But surprisingly, we see that King Priyabrata enjoyed household life very much. Household life is generally, it is considered as the root cause. I mean, it is a root cause of bondage, and bondage of karma or fruitive activities. And often one gets attached to the to fruitive activities, and while doing that, he forgets the mission of human life. And household life is therefore not considered is not a very good situation, and considered an adverse situation, in other words, for performing exclusive devotional service. And he, Parikshit Maharaj is again elevated, is telling that to Shukdev Goswami, elevated Mahatmas take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are liberated persons, and they certainly remain situated and satisfied under on the shades of the lotus feet of the Lord. Their consciousness cannot be attached to the family members. But in this verse, it is stated King Priyabrata, who was so attached to wife, children, and home, yet he attained complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. So Maharaj Parikshit is asking Shukdev Goswami about his doubt. And the very first word is Sangshayoham. So here, Sangshayoham means this doubt has come to my mind. So how a person attached to wife, children, home, that is Dara, Garo, Shutadishu. Dara means wife, Agaro means home, and Adishu, and Shuta means children, and Adishu, and so on. They become, so at the same time, he has become perfect in Krishna consciousness also. So while discussing that, we'll first discuss what is transcendental knowledge, why doubt comes, when doubt comes in our progress in transcendental knowledge and acquiring transcendental knowledge of devotional service, and which doubts are which doubt are natural and can be resolved, and how it is to be resolved, and which doubt should not come at all, which sort of doubt should not come at all. So first, gradually we're trying to. And here, one is a very important thing is that we find two great persons here. King Parikshit Maharaj, he is a great devotee of the Lord, and Shukdev Goswami, he is a self-realized person. From his birth, he was self-realized. So we will just trying to understand backgrounds and then go to that point. And so first we'll talk about Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukdev Goswami how about his doubt and how he can resolve it. And we all know the background of Parikshit Maharaj, most of people know, but I'm just trying to say a few words on that. Parikshit Maharaj, we know Parikshit Maharaj was the son of Abhimanyu, and he was Abhimanyu again was the son of Arjuna. And during the battle of Kurukshetra, Parikshit Maharaj was still in the womb of his mother when his father was killed. And Uttara at the time, at the end of war, when Abhimanyu was on the womb of his mother, Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, tried to kill the child in the womb by throwing a weapon, and that weapon is known as Brahmastra. And Brahmastra, but the name implies that it is very, and it is the extreme weapon, and no one can stop the results of that weapon. The Supreme Lord Krishna has to personally intervene, and he entered the womb of Mother Uttara, Parikshit Mother's Uttara, and saved the Lord, saved Parikshit Maharaj. And after the Pandavas left this material world, Maharaja Parikshit became the ruler of this entire planet, the whole world. So he was a great ruler and a devotee of the Supreme Lord, because he was saved by the Supreme Lord when he was in the womb of his mother. So what a great devotee he is. Lord Krishna has saved him from even when he was taking birth. So while he was a king, he once went to in the forest, and during the time he was very thirsty, and entered into the heart of to drink water. And the sage name was Shomiko Rishi. He was meditating at the time, and he did not respond. The king was very thirsty at that moment, and he became enraged a bit. And because he was not treated as, he is a king at the time, king of the entire world, and he was not treated properly, he then put a dead snake on the body of this sage and left the place. And when and the Somikrishi's son Sringi, his name is Sringi, the son of Somikrishi, learned about the incident from friend. And as a young boy, young boys are sometimes they cannot act properly often. So at the time, he became furious to know that his father's honor has been dishonored in this way, and violated, his honor was violated. So he caused Parikshit Maharaj to die from the snake bite within 7 days. And when Parikshit Maharaj, and you see the reaction of Parikshit Maharaj, he heard the news about the impending death, and he accepted it as a good news because he considered it's a God's wish. Now, normally, when we have something adverse goes against us, we think that no, we have been victimized, and the Lord was not kind. But Parikshit Maharaj has accepted it, whatever has come. And he immediately relinquished his royal position as a king and detached himself from all material activities, both as a royal activities as well as activities from the family. And subsequently, on the advice of Shukdev Goswami, he got himself engaged in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami on the bank of the river Ganges. And while he is hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam, as is advised by Shukdev Goswami, this doubt has arisen in his mind. And he is expressing it to Shukdev Goswami to resolve this doubt. As you know, the doubt is like a demon. And in Bhagavad Gita, I think it is 2.7. Arjuna also has a similar doubt. He has asked Lord Krishna before him, and he told, Karpanna dosho upata savavo prachamitam dharma samurujata jatsriyam sannischitam gurhitam me shishyastam shadimam tvam prapanna. That means he is telling that it has come in my mind. I am asked, and I am surrendering to you. Please advise me what is my duty on that. So this is the way transcendental, when we have doubt about transcendental thing, we should approach a person who can give us. And now we'll tell a few words how transcendental knowledge is normally transmitted between the guru and the disciple. And in Bhagavad Gita 4:34, it's clearly mentioned how transcendental knowledge is acquired. Transcendental knowledge, being pure knowledge, is not like a materialistic knowledge. It is, one cannot get this knowledge by speculation, like people and nowadays we see the people have making researches, and this is for material things. But spiritual knowledge is not is a matter of speculation. One should not speculate about the forms and lords of or any other things. We should approach a spiritual master, as I'm trying to tell from verse 4.34 in Srimad Bhagavatam. It very clearly mentioned the process. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattadarshina. Means tadvidhi pranipatena. Tadvidhi means that knowledge. How to know that knowledge? By tadvidhi pranipatena. Pranipat means prakrishta rupena pat. That means surrendering completely on a person, on the guru. And pariprashnena sevaya. And these two things, pariprashna and sevaya, question is there and also service is there. But here the service normally comes first. One has to serve the Supreme Lord, spiritual master, and when he's satisfied with the bona fideness of the devotee, he realizes, discloses realized knowledge to the disciple. And that is the way of transmission of spiritual knowledge. So one thing we must remember is very clearly that transcendental knowledge is not a matter of speculation, as I have just told. It comes directly from the Lord. And so one cannot know it by his own effort without the help of a devotee. And this transcendental knowledge, it is mentioned also in Bhagavad Gita, 2-3 places it is mentioned. In 3:15 it is there, I think, Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam. So Karma Brahmakshara Vidhi means, Brahma means here Vedas. So our prescribed duties that we do, that comes from the Vedas. What duties we should do, what we should not do is given in the Vedas. But Brahmakshara Samudbhavam, Brahma Akshara, and Brahma, that is Veda, comes from the Lord, Samudbhavam. So it comes from the Lord. And similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam also it is very clearly mentioned, Dharma tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. The religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we should be very clear about that transcendental knowledge is not a matter of speculation. It has to be learned from a great devotee. It has come from the Lord, and it has to be learned from the devotees. And what is the result of learning that knowledge? When one has learned the transcendental knowledge, the next verse it is given, 4.35. Jadgyata no punar moha evam yashari pandava yena bhutani osheshani drakshasi atmani otomai. One who has obtained this knowledge from a self-realized soul, he will never fall again to the illusion. No punar moha evam. He will never be confused again about his position, because most often we are thinking we are the body, and we do not realize that we are the soul. That is our identity. And what is the second part of it is that Jena Bhutani Oshishani, and he will see that Lord is pervaded everywhere. All living beings are part and parcel of Krishna. That is the knowledge one realizes when he has got the transcendental, proper realization of transcendental knowledge. Now, about in the same way, just as we have told the disciple, or disciple should approach a spiritual master. Similarly, a spiritual master should have also the same qualities to become a spiritual master. He must be a pure Vaishnava to give to be a real spiritual master. He must be in the parampara system, because it has come directly from the God. He must be on the bona fide parampara system, and at the same time he should be a realized person. And normally, generally, when a person is born, it is told that Janmana Jayate Shudra. Everybody is born as a Shudra. And Janmana Jayate Shudra, Sanskarat Dijochita. When by purificated process, he becomes a Dijob, and second, he is born, he is given second birth in that sense. First birth is given by the parents, and second birth is given by the Guru. Because what happens when a person sees that the problems of material life and wants to resolve them, and seeks direction for spiritual progress, he approaches spiritual master and gets instruction from Vedic knowledge. And that is given by the spiritual master. And when is Dijo, after that, Dijo by Shastra Protet Bhavet Vipro, then he advances, a Dijo advances to becomes a Vipro. And when he further progresses, he knows the Brahman, he is called Brahman. He is called a Brahman. Brahma Janatiti Brahman. So he becomes a Brahman. And after that, again, it is told that in, I think no, it is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Verse 11. Badanti tattavidas tattam jajjana valtayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhavavaniti shabdate. That it is told that this Brahman, the absolute, knowledge of the absolute is realized in 3 stages. It is not that the absolute truth is different, is 3 stages. No, it is not 3, but it is realized depending on the consciousness of the person. The first is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Brahman is the lowest stage of the realization of the absolute truth, and then is Paramatma, the localized aspect of the Lord, and then is Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is the highest realization of the Lord. And when one becomes a Vaishnava, he realizes the Bhagavan aspect of the Lord. That means when one becomes a Vaishnava, he has already known what is Brahman, and he has also known what is Paramatma. And In that way, that is the qualification of a pure spiritual, realized spiritual master. So here, Shukdev Goswami is born as a Vaishnava, and he did not require ceremonies and all that, because if we know the life of Shukdev, we will not spend so much on that, because Shukdev Goswami from the beginning, he was a realized person. He was a Vaishnava from the beginning. So, we see the situation here. Shukdev Goswami, a Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava, and from the realized Vaishnava from the very beginning, and Parikshit Maharaj is a pure devotee inquiring from his spiritual master. It's a very ideal situation, and here the doubt has arisen, and how Shukdev, Parikshit Maharaj is clearing his doubt. He has asked his spiritual master, and that is the way one should do. in case, sorry. Normally, often we do not have the spiritual master in our hand always, and because of the present situation. But we should, when we have doubt arises in our minds about a spiritual thing, we should ask our spiritual master how to resolve it. And he, being knowledgeable person, he will clear our doubt, because we must know for certain that the Lord is Purnam, Purnamadha Purnamidam. Whatever the Supreme Lord is pure and is Purnam, whatever has come from him, the knowledge that has come from him is also Purnam, and his creation is Purnam, everything is Purnam. So when doubt arises in our mind, it is because of incomplete knowledge, because we do not have the proper knowledge. That's why we feel doubt. So we should ask a spiritual master or a knowledgeable devotee who can guide us and clear our doubt, so that we can progress further. And that is the process of advancing in spiritual life. So we should progress in spiritual life by asking question to our spiritual master, or for the Vaishnava who are in doubt. But if we have doubt about the words of the Supreme Person or the Lord, and of the spiritual master, the words of the spiritual master, then it is a very dangerous situation, because a person who has no faith in the Shastra or the Lord or the words of the spiritual master, he has no chance of progressing in devotional service. I'm quoting two verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, to show what happens to a person who has no faith. And in verse 4.40, chapter 4, verse 40, Astrabdadhanascha Samshayatma Vinashati Nayang Lokosti No Poro No Shukam Samshayatmana. That means ignorant, faithless person who doubts the revealed scripture and do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. It's clearly written, they will fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. They cannot have, perfect in this life, and they cannot have happiness in the next life also. So one should therefore should never doubt the principle that is revealed in the scriptures. And if he has doubt about he cannot understand a thing, he should approach, as I have told. That's the way to resolve it. And he cannot have any chance to progress in spiritual life if he doubts the three things. He has doubts on the Supreme Lord, he has doubts on the word of his spiritual master, and he doesn't have faith in the scriptures. And so we should always follow the footsteps of our acharyas to progress in our spiritual life. Now, another place also in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I think it is 9.3. Pastrabda dana purusha samshayasya dharmasya parantapo prapyamam nivartante mittu samsara vartmani. Those who are not faithful in the devotional service cannot attain me. The same thing Lord is telling again. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. The faithless cannot accomplish the process of devotional service. That is stated in this verse. In both the verses it is stated, one who is faithless he cannot progress in devotional service. And again, faith is created by association of devotees. So what we have to do, as we have also seen, when we are in association of devotees, we can clear our doubt, and and incomplete knowledge can be made completed by the help of the devotees. And the person who is on a high, who is an elevated position, he can explain. So, but those who doubts about the Krishna and his spiritual master and devotional service has no chance of progress in devotional service. That is the conclusion of these two verses. Now, second then comes perfection, as we have told. Parikshit Maharaj has asked about Shukdev Goswami how we achieve perfection. Now, we'll discuss about the words perfection, what perfection really means, and how to attain it, and how one can become happy by getting perfection. And if we look around us, I mean, everywhere, outside, everywhere, we find that everyone in this material is pursuing various activities to become perfect in his own ways. And they want to be happy also in this way. We see someone wants to be a perfect singer, someone wants to be an actor, someone as a dancer, wants to be perfect, I mean to say, as an artist, as an engineer, as a doctor, as a teacher, as a professor, as a scientist, as a businessman, as an industrialist, and the list goes on and on. We can have so many vocations there. People are trying to be perfect, and they are thinking they are independent, powerful, and they can perfect themselves by their own endeavor. But they are really, are they really getting perfect? A lot of people often, they cannot attain what they want. And if some of them become successful also to achieve the so-called perfection they have desired in their field, it is also very temporary, because ultimately it comes to an end at some point of time. And also what they have to endeavor for, what they have given for that, he has given, I mean, any person who has tried it, I mean, he has utilized his knowledge, intelligence, great endeavor, and hard labor, very hard labor to become successful. And large part of his lifetime is spent in this way. He gets name, fame, and some followers as well sometimes. He earns money and opulence for sense enjoyment. But at the time of death, and ultimately, everything goes. And the final thing is that he has failed to realize what is the purpose of this rare and valuable human life. By doing that way, he has just forget what is the purpose of human life. What to speak of a proper utilization? He has not even attempted to do that. So that is the way most of the people are working in this way. And what is the reason for that? People generally want to be loved by others, and to be happy in this way, they are thinking that they will do that, and they will have a name, and people will love them because of their perfection in their field. But this love, we also, is a natural thing. I mean, we love our parents because we have come from our parents. So it is natural that when it does not happen, we see that someone is not, someone doesn't love his parent, we considering that it is unnatural. And if we think a bit deeply on these things, we have come from our parents, no doubt about that. We have been, but they are not. They are only partial cause of our existence, isn't it? They don't have enough control over everything that we are, what we are. And in fact, Krishna, Supreme Lord Krishna, is the ultimate or the absolute cause. This is because everything, what is the cause of everything in our existence is because of Krishna, because he is the controller of everything. And Krishna has also told in various places In Bhagavad Gita 9:17, it clearly says, Pitaha Masya Jagato Dhata Pitamaha. That means he is telling I am the father. Similarly, also in 14.4, he says, Sarva Yonishu Kunteyo Murteyo Sambhavanti Ya Tasam Brahma Mahotjani Raham Bijapata Pita. In these two verses, it's clearly explained by Krishna that he is the original father of living entities. That's why we should love him. And one who wants to achieve the highest perfection must seek to know about the absolute cause, because if we know partially and remain partial, that we cannot know the absolute. So one who wants to be perfect, he has to know the absolute. And the devotees, of course, know all the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And this is confirmed in Vedanta Sutra also, Janmadhyasya Yatha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And ultimately, everything is coming from him. So real perfection is to have attachment to Krishna. So when our consciousness is attached to Krishna, that is the real perfection of human life. Most of the people have forgotten this basic knowledge, and that's why they are trying to be perfect in different ways. And in fact, the devotees understand that this is a real craziness. All of them are trying to be famous by becoming perfect in this way we have just described. That is not real perfection. And they do not know, because they do not have the proper knowledge. They do not know who is the perfect person and whom to approach for, who can make one perfect, who can make him perfect. And, or in other, who can give him perfection, that they don't know. Because ultimately, one contemplates, or ultimately when one contemplates on these things, he can realize that the real perfection, where it comes from, and he pursues it in that way, pursues his activities in that way, and can become perfect. Because we are all controlled and, or rather dependent on the Supreme Lord, his will, and real happiness and perfection is possible only by taking shelter of that perfect person who has got unlimited opulence. He is completely pure and unlimited in his qualities. And that person, that perfect person, is no one but Krishna. And this information of his unlimited opulence has been given in the scriptures. In Vishnu Puran, it is there. Parashar Muni has described him. Ashoyasya samagrasya viriyasya jasasya sriya jnana vairagya chaiva sannam bhagavamitin. That means, yes, he is called Bhagavan. That's why he is called Bhagavan. Means he is complete in, he has complete Bhagavad, the complete opulence in completion. Everything is complete in him. People are normally attracted to Aishwarya, means opulence. People are attracted to each of these qualities. Someone is attracted to Aishwarya, someone is attracted to Birja, powerfulness, someone is attracted to his fame, someone is attracted to his beauty, and someone is attracted to his jnana, means knowledge, someone is attracted to his vairagya. So each one of his qualities is a thing to be one is normally attracted, but they do not know that he is the person who can give that. When we have a attraction for the Lord, that is the real perfection. As a living being, we have got consciousness, and when our consciousness, every living being has got consciousness, and human being has the highest consciousness among all living beings. So when we utilize our consciousness, or in other words, we can say we want to connect it with the Lord. Krishna Mutihi, our consciousness connected to the Lord. That is the path of perfection. Krishna Bhakti Rasho Bhavita Muti, meaning Krishna Bhakti Rasho, Krishna is full of Rasho and Bhavita Muti. When we are connected to that, one is fully absorbed or immersed in Krishna Bhakti Rash. That is Krishna consciousness. When one achieves that stage of consciousness, that is the perfection of life. and that is the topmost, infallible, and real perfection. When one achieves that stage of consciousness, he seeks to know more and more about Krishna. Because when a person who is attached to Krishna, he wants to know more and more about Krishna and remains fully absorbed in him. Krishna Bhakti Rasobhavita Moti is the essential of, that is the essence of all Vedic knowledge according to Srimad Bhagavatam. And also in Bhagavad Gita also, it is said that Shukdev Goswami, or Shukdev Goswami, as he is the speaker, he is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, his consciousness was always captivated and charmed by the gunas of the Hari. He was always thinking and contemplating on the qualities of the Hari. And King Priyabrata also achieved that perfection. And it is said, that is what is said in this verse. And in the purport, also Prabhupada has mentioned about Prahlad Maharaj. If you see Motirino Krishna, that is there. And Prahlad Maharaj is also speaking about the same perfection of Krishna consciousness. He's saying that Krishna consciousness needs to be aroused. Obhipaddet means it has to be aroused in our mind. It is there it is already within us, but one has to arouse it. We have consciousness as a living being, as we have told, but unless we develop it or direct it towards Krishna, by default, it will be directed to other material things, but because our soul is entrapped in a body, and bodily things like home, family members, relatives, and other things, that it will be directed unless we direct it towards Krishna consciously, by our consciousness. And that because Krishna is the Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu, means he is the ocean. He is associated with the ocean of unlimited rasa of bliss. A devotee can associate with him in any of the 5 ways of primary rasas we know, Shanto, Dasha, Shakho, and Vatsalya and Madhur. These are the 5 ways one can connect any of the ways. But look at the common people around us, we see around us. They are so much attracted by the glittering material things and seeking perfection out of them, because they have no knowledge about Krishna and his possessions. And due to their sheer ignorance, these persons are too addicted to materialistic life of self-enjoyment, and they have no motir in Krishna. And motir in Krishna, or that is the Krishna consciousness, that is the goal of a human life. And that's why Prabhupada has created the Society of ISKCON for that. The devotees here who are in Krishna consciousness are in various stage of their journey to be perfect and happy in Krishna. And our Guru Maharaj says that, Shubha Goswami Guru Maharaj says that we are fortunate that we are part of this Krishna conscious movement. And those who are outside his ISKCON are unfortunate, but most unfortunate are those who have known the ISKCON, joined it, but could not continue. We have at least boarded the right train, which will take us to the right direction, and we'll reach there. We have reached there because we have boarded the right train. But others have not boarded it. They are unfortunate, and those who got down from it are most unfortunate. And so, with that, but before I'm ending it, but before that, a few words on that. We see that here, Shukdev Goswami has really given answer to what Parikshit Maharaj asked, that how a person who is attached to family life and again become perfect, that is in the next verse. I have not, intentionally I have not gone to that part, because next speaker will speak about that. But giving some hints of that Shukdev Goswami accepted both the Parikshit Maharaj's propositions. I'm just giving an indication, I'm not discussing that at all. That a person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness cannot embrace materialistic life again. That is Shukdev Goswami's answer. And that one who has embraced materialistic life cannot take up the Krishna consciousness at any stage of his existence. Although both of these statements of Shukdev Goswami qualified them by saying that a person who has once absorbed in his mind in the glories of Supreme Godhead may sometimes be influenced by the impediment, but he doesn't give up his exalted position of devotional service. So how Parikshit Maharaj, the doubt of Parikshit Maharaj was replied by Shukdev Goswami I have not discussed, but again giving hints that in his the two positions Shukdev Goswami has accepted. He has told that what Parikshit Maharaj has told that a family person, one who is absorbed in family life, he cannot have progress. That is also correct thing. And one who is taken a very elevated position of transcendental life, he doesn't come back to my family life also. He has accepted both the same, but he has given a reply. But but I have consciously avoid that reply. I mean, to dealt on that subject because it will be dealt by the next speaker. So Hare Krishna, with that I am concluding. If anyone has any question, any realization, any other any comments to make, or any mistake I have you might have committed, please feel free to comment, and I'm happy to hear from all of you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question or any answer? Oh, sorry, any realization?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Oh, very elaborate explanation of this verse. The purport is so small. And I was thinking how you're going to speak, but you managed to cover this verse in so many different ways, especially from the doubt. And you explained that if there's a doubting person, it's very hard for him to get into Krishna consciousness, especially doubting the scriptures is very dangerous. And you mentioned from Bhagavad Gita that there's no scope for the person to further advance in Krishna consciousness. But doubt is also part of, Prabhupada I think mentioned one time that doubt is a sign of intelligence.
Yes, Prabhuji, two things on that. I think I have tried to speak on that the doubt, because doubt may arise because of incomplete knowledge. When we cannot interpret the things by our knowledge, the existing knowledge I have, I am not understanding what is there. That is that, so doubt may arise. There's no doubt about. I mean, that is a part of intelligence. You are very rightly told, and that is acceptable, and that's why our spiritual masters, their knowledgeable devotees are there. We should associate with them so that we clear our doubt in advance. Thank you, Prabhu. And okay, please continue.
And that doubt has to be smashed by the torchlight of knowledge.
Yes.
The second stage, if somebody has doubt, she should not just forget, oh, I cannot answer this, there's nothing else. We should approach a bona fide spiritual master to get an answer to this.
Yes.
So many people, especially in this age of internet, and they just listen to something they can't figure out, and they just say, oh, this is not possible. They stop there. They have a doubt, but they don't go further to clear it, and then they leave the process as it is, incomplete, so they'll never advance. So here it's very nicely, I mean, Parikshit Maharaj is so advanced, but he's asking how it's possible that Parivrata Maharaj can go to family life even after knowing so many things about it. So yeah, this doubt, and then further on, as you mentioned, Shukdev Goswami is going to clear this thing. Thank you, Prabhu, for a very enlightening class. We're unpacking so many aspects of this verse. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. And Prabhuji, on this, just as a continuation of that, what you have told, Prabhupada has told so we have to approach, but to go to the internet, nothing is a matter of speculation only. So we should not speculate, because transcendental knowledge is pure. It has come from the Lord, and it is not come from it is free from all defects. So we should approach a person who has knowledge about that, who can speak us what is our doubt, who can clear our doubt. And we should not go to anybody else who just as in case of a material knowledge, people normally go to someone else. I mean, of their own effort, they try to find out a solution, and that is a matter of speculation. And Prabhupada has always cautioned us about approaching with speculative mind. Prabhupada has told very cautious us that we should not approach for transcendental knowledge. We should not speculate. We should always learn from, because it has come from the Lord. So we have to know what is the knowledge. But by our own effort, if we try, for life after life, even we try, we cannot come to the real truth. Hare Krishna.
You also mentioned that this was Praniprasthana Sevya Pradakshina Jnanam. So asking question is very pertinent, and
Yes, Prabhu.
I'd like to just highlight that His Holiness Birkrishna Das Goswami Maharaj, when he visits, he's taking so much trouble visiting devotees' homes. Whether the devotee is not coming to him, then he's going to their place. And one of the first thing he asks is, any questions? And there's a big silence. So I think these devotees are a bit reluctant to ask question, or then not sure. They might get, they might feel that the ignorance might be exposed. But it's very important to ask question. Even sometimes questions seem to be very simple and self-explanatory. But unless you ask questions, because there are so many manifestations, so many aspects of looking at the question. So here, even on this forum, not many devotees ask questions. This is a bit surprising. So I think we should learn from Birkrishna Maharaj Goswami. We say any question, we should, when you hear in the lecture or class, we should be very attentive. And there's some incongruence, sometimes a bit of contradiction, something we heard. It's best to clarify that, and they'll get everybody learned by this.
Yes.
I want to emphasize we should Praniprasthana Seva is very important. The seva and the asking question in a very humble mood is very important aspect of Hare Krishna philosophy. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu, for informing about Birkrishna Goswami Maharaj's kind approach toward his devotees. Thank you for that. And in fact, that is the quality of a Vaishnava. He knows that the people are suffering, and he, of his own accord, he goes there, and he tries to solve their problem. But sometimes those who are suffering, they don't know it, and that is the quality of a Vaishnava. He tries to help a devotee. He understands the suffering they're going through, and he wants to give a reply to them and help them. So, and also you have very nicely told that doubt is always possible. That means, doubt means what I have to do and all that. I must have doubt all what I do that. But I should not speculate. I should go to a knowledgeable person, like as you have told. And the Vaishnavas are, they take extra care, extra mileage to help the devotees. And that is a good example we have pointed out in case of Birkrishna Goswami Maharaj. And that is the quality of a Vaishnava. He feels poro dukhe dukhi. He understands their sufferings, and he approaches them and to give them help. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for a wonderful class and realizations and points from various slokas. So I especially like that point where you said actually we are more connected to Krishna than we really realize. More than you mentioned that we get the bodies from our material forefathers or whatever, but actually our originally we belong to we are Krishna. So more than belonging to the material world, actually we belong more to Krishna. That's more like a good, nice reassurance for all of us, that we are actually more connected to Krishna than we realize. Thanks for that. And also you mentioned one who has tasted this nectar of Krishna consciousness, he can never go back to material life. That's also a very point of good reassurance. So just probably a comment or a question here. Normally we say, we tend to say, he has fallen down, she has fallen down, he has gone away from Krishna. Actually, nobody can really go away from Krishna consciousness. Am I correct in that understanding? Like we normally say, he is no longer there, he has gone away, or he is not part of this movement. So actually, nobody, once who has tasted the nectar, he can never really go anywhere.
Yes.
They're always part of it. Yeah, just wanted to.
Always, Prabhuji, thank you for bringing the point. And in this regard, I just to speak on that the devotional service one gives to the Lord never forgets it. And 240 is clearly Neha Vikramana Shasti Praktavayu Novidade. So Shalpamapya Shadharmata Tayate Mahatavaya. So one who has advanced, he that remains in his credit for all the time to come. Maybe for the time being, his progress has been checked, and but the Lord never forgets what he has given him, and that's why Lord's name is Achyuta also. He never forgets. So whatever we have done, we'll start from there. Maybe for the time being, we are not progressing. That is the fall down. By that we mean that he has stopped from that point. Fallen down means he has not progressing. And Krishna conscious movement, Krishna consciousness, our Guru Maharaj says, is a dynamic. Prabhupada is also take. Dynamic means either you are progressing or you are going down. Going down in the sense you are not progressing on that way. So for those who are falling down means they are not progressing any further. That is the situation. But whatever he has done, if he start again, he can do it. Because in 9:30, if I can remember correctly, 9:30 in Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly written, it is written, Opiche Sudharacharo Bhajate Mamanannava Sadhurena Sadhure Sumantopo Samyak Bhavashita Isho. And is whatever one has done, if he starts again, I mean, he can start there again. He will not have to go back and start from the zero, just like in our material things. But in case of transcendental service, he starts from the point where he has stopped. So that way, the falling down it can be explained in that way, not like other things that we have fallen down and come back to zero. Not that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for clarifying that.
So, Prabhu, if
one
there
more
is
point,
another
Prabhu.
person,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just one more point. You mentioned that also Prabhu mentioned that once somebody comes to Krishna consciousness, even does little bit of service, Krishna never forgets, and Krishna always trying to bring them back.
Yeah.
So there was one incident in Russia. This devotee was telling that there was a nice pujari, but he had some difference with the management, so he left. But he was not happy. So one time he was still practicing, but in like incognito. He is not showing that he's a devotee. So one time he was returning from his father's funeral, and they were serving meat and everything, but he was not eating anything. This is a Russian devotee. He was coming back home by plane. He was wearing all black. So there was a couple of Mataji's Russian devotees in the same plane. Then they saw this person wearing black, and he was very morose. So they offered him some prasadam. But he said, no, I don't want to take. Then again they approached him. And they said, no, I'm not taking it. He said, how Krishna is not letting me go? Everywhere I go, Krishna is trying to catch hold of me. So when he got off the plane and he was very hungry, the devotees offered him prasadam again. He took it. And he said, Krishna is so merciful. Even here, I left him, but he's always trying to catch me and bring me back. I didn't want to take prasadam. This Mata just forced me to take prasadam. I was very hungry. So we can see that Krishna, if somebody serves Krishna, Krishna never forgets, always trying to bring them back. So yes, Prabhu said this, even somebody, we can say somebody left the movement, some or other, Krishna will bring them back. So yes, somebody does some service, Krishna never forgets.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, that's what I meant to say, that who has fallen down, by that we mean that he has stopped there. He just could not advance. That is the most unfortunate thing, because he was progressing, but he just stopped it, and not like material fall down. Material fall down means, if I'm just giving a small example and finishing it before it. If someone has entered a medical college or an engineering college, he's studied for 2-3 years, and then he left it. Then in the next life, can he start with because I've read up to the 3rd year, I'll now start from 4th year? No, he cannot do that. But in transcendental life or transcendental service one has rendered, he starts from that place. So that is the beauty of the devotional service. And Krishna is Krishna is so merciful that he never forgets it, and always helping us who wants his help. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any more further comments, or we can close here? Doesn't seem to be, so probably we'll close here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sankhya kalpotarubhyascha
Yascha
kripa
kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय हिज ग्रेस अभय चरण प्रभु की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल Praised as Amol devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your nice class. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.